$9,600 so far in repairs in the month of May. It's freaking ridiculous, man. Yeah, so it seems like every time I you know, get 10, 15,000 saved up my maintenance, and I save aggressively, something comes up. The last major thing I had was back in January, $12,000 for a new transmission. But man, I mean, I did not foresee this happen. I guess you never really foresee, you know, major repairs. Obviously you prepare for them, but it's crazy. So my inspection was due at Mercer. You have to do your tractor inspection once every 6 months, and mine was due actually at the end of April. Picked up a load, and what happens is, like, once you go past your due date, they put you out of service. Pretty much just meaning you can't book any more loads until you get it done. So I picked up a load, and you know, there's only certain locations we can get them done at. And so I noticed there was a couple places I was going to pass on my route. None of them worked out. Called them ahead of time. The guy wasn't going to be there, or the hour's going to be closed, or you know, or I was running behind, or you know, wasn't going to work out for my schedule. Finally, I saw one in West Memphis, Arkansas, a Bossman shop, and I go there, you know, and honestly, lesson learned. And I kind of know this. Obviously, this ain't my first inspection, but typically speaking, if there is something that needs to be done, it's usually pretty quick. Turn around, get it done, get back on the road. But unfortunately, this was not one of those situations. So in the future, I will try to not schedule my inspections while I'm under a load. But you know, sometimes if you're trying to make money, I was trying to end the month of April with a certain amount gross, and so I picked up that load, and I was like, okay, this isn't going to be a problem. Truck's in pretty good shape, you know, shouldn't be an issue. But I was wrong. Anyway, so I get to this Bossman shop in West Memphis, Arkansas, get the inspection done, and they get me for passenger side tie rod in, and the pivot points on the fifth wheel, you know, being too loose. Okay, no big deal, you know. I go pick up the parts. It was something I was gonna, you know, see about doing myself, but I was like, forget it, get it done real quick turnaround, get back on the road. Well, they go to put the pivot points bushings in the fifth wheel the next day, and they're like, well, this thing is so hollowed out and egged out that even if we put these on here, it's not gonna work. All right, so like basically at this point, I've got to get a new fifth wheel. And the way the fifth wheels work nowadays, or at least for my truck, you really can't buy it separately. You know, you have to buy the whole top and bottom, the whole plate. I mean, if you know something different, let me know. You know, hindsight is 2020. I looked at local junkyards. I tried to find some used ones. I called around. I mean, really, honestly, Freightliner was my only option. So, you know, so ordered the part for Freightliner. Wasn't going to be there until, I don't know, Saturday or something like that. So already I put me behind. I called the agency and let them know what's going on. No big deal, you know, about a day delay on each load. Well, around the same time, I'm having coolant issues. And I spoke about this before. Normally, about once a year, maybe twice a year at the most, I have to replace the head gasket on my truck because it's not machined properly and everything. The guy who did the rebuild on it did a really shitty job. Anyway, so get that done. Get the fifth wheel. Turns out it's the wrong fifth wheel. So I ended up having to return that fifth wheel. By the way, this fifth wheel was, I paid $4,900 for it. Would have been like $5,400 if I would have bought it through Bossman Shop, but I bought it myself, and so, you know, it cost me a little less. Now, $4,900 for this fifth wheel, and then it ended up being the wrong fifth wheel, so I had to take it back, and I got charged a $700 restocking fee. the guy who I get to do my head gaskets in West Memphis, Arkansas, or like Heath, Arkansas, a guy named Bobby, man. He's really good, man. If you're ever in that area, I think it's off of exit 160, off of 40, and he does really good. I think that I can't remember if that's a TA, but it's like it's right behind like a T. I think it's a TA. It's right behind a TA. He's really good, man. He's really good. So anyways, we're used to this normally being a head gasket, so I get the parts ahead of time, whatever, and simply, hey, change the head gasket. Well, get the head gasket on there and everything. Truck's still shooting out freaking coolant out of the fucking reservoir and everything, and we're like, what the hell? So we kind of moved too fast. I should have had him go ahead and troubleshoot instead of just assuming that it was the gasket. I actually think the gasket was good at this time. There was a cracked cylinder liner. That was the issue. Now, one of the issues I'm having with this truck is, I've had the truck flushed out, the coolant system flushed out a few times, and I'm getting a lot of rust and muddy coolant. I mean, I could just put fresh coolant in there, and I'm getting muddy and watery, kind of muddy coolant. And everything that I've done research on pretty much is like that's pretty much a bad block. When the guy did the rebuild on my engine, he threw a rod through my original block, so we had to go get another block. And I'm thinking, not only did he go get a bad block that needs to be machined, but he also got a block that was probably sitting somewhere in the junkyard or something, and just was just full of rust. Because I've read and researched that that's usually one of the main issues with running these older Detroits, is making sure that you get a good block. And so when you have that causes cavitation, and then that cavitation over time obviously will lead to a cracked cylinder liner. Now, it is also possible that a few weeks prior to that, my fan clutch hub went out, and so there was a couple weeks there where my fan wasn't working. Now, it was still relatively cool outside. It wasn't pulling heavy. I did have to pull a few hills, and the temperature did get up there a little bit, but I wouldn't let it sustain that. And it's usually I'd get to the top of the hill, then I'd be able to coast down, and it would cool the engine down before, from what I observed, before it got to dangerous amount of heat for a sustained amount of time. But who knows? That could have had something to do with it also. But yeah, so spent the $2,100 for the head gasket, which is actually a really good price. Freightliner probably would charge me like $4,000 something, and then realized that wasn't an issue, so we had to go back and do the cylinder liner, and that was like another, I don't know, $2,700, something like that. So I probably wasted $2,100, by doing the head gasket, which obviously if you go to change the cylinder liner and changes whatever, you have to go ahead and replace the head gasket anyways. But I definitely wasted some money there. Lesson learned. So anyways, back to this fifth wheel. The fifth wheel was the wrong part, so they charged me $700 stocking fee. This truck is a 2007 Freightliner Detroit 60 Columbia. Used to be a Ryder truck, and I guess when Ryder first got this truck, they changed the original fifth wheel, because when I sent the part number up, I gave them the last 6 of the VIN, and the fifth wheel they sent me was what it was calling for. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't going to go on the truck, so I guess we got the part number off the truck, and then we got the correct VIN. They put it on, and it worked out, because I ended up having all the work done at that. I think it's S&L Diesel. I think that's the name of it, but the guys over there really know their stuff, and so got that on there, and it worked out to a certain degree, because Bobby was able to get me, I don't know how much the fifth wheel that he got me cost, but apparently it was less than $3,800, and he just charged me $3,800 because he had to pay a restocking fee also, because he ordered the fifth wheel and it turned out to not be the right fifth wheel either originally, and then he went by the part number. So lesson learned. Obviously go by the VIN, but also if you can, double check the part number and make sure they jive also, because I tried to talk to Freightliner and they were like, no, this isn't the original fifth wheel that came on the truck. That's not our fault, that's something that happened, whatever. So it's like, all right, whatever. Anyways, when it was all said and done, with parts and labor and everything, end up paying about $9,600 for everything. And so that just really sucks. I was gonna fix my air conditioning this month. That's not gonna happen. That's gonna have to wait until next month. And I also changed the O-rings and gasket on my oil return line or oil fill tube or whatever, and it's still leaking. So it's another issue that I've got to deal with. Now here's my gripe with. So I don't know how Mercer chooses these approved locations for their inspections, but there's been a couple times that I've been to these places and they literally really don't check anything. They check like the stuff they think is going to need to be fixed. And like, I mean, as far as on like an actual proper DOT inspection, they never really do it. And it's like, well, I mean, if you're going to do it, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, one time it probably worked out for me. I was at a TA and the guy really did a half-ass job, and it's kind of like, okay, you know, good, because I know there was probably one or two things that need to be addressed. But at the same time, if there are things that need to be addressed, you kind of want to know, so that way you can get it fixed and you can, you know, you don't get pulled over by DOT and you can get down the road safe and everything. Now, obviously, in hindsight, there's probably a lot of things I could have done differently. Usually when I have some kind of breakdown or major repair needs to be done or whatever, if I'm under load, I'm thinking, what's the quickest, you know? Yeah, what's going to save me some money, but also what's the quickest? And unfortunately, sometimes when you're trying to get things done the quickest, you end up not making the correct decisions up front. And sometimes you don't even know what the correct decisions are. I mean, the fifth wheel that I got on here now, like I said, it was only $3,800, and Bobby wasn't doing a markup fee on it. You know, obviously, if I would have got it through the fifth wheel if I would have gotten the other fifth wheel through Bossman Shop, I think they would have got it for like $4,400, but they would have marked it up and it would have been like $5,400, you know? So a lot of times in those situations, if you can go get the part yourself, go get the part yourself, because you'll usually save yourself money. Now, even though I paid for the part, Bossman did go and pick it up and they didn't charge me for that. It was just a matter of me just picking it up, so that was kind of cool. And they, for the most part, they were kind of cool. They kind of worked me a little bit, but I was pretty pissed off about how this whole thing, it went from like an $800 thing, you know, just replacing the bushings, tie rod in, to freaking $9,600 just like that, man. Gone, freaking gone. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm definitely leaning towards trying to save up for something newer. But unfortunately, like, you know, every time you get a significant amount of money saved up, me personally, I feel like I need to have at least $25,000 saved up in order to even think about getting to something newer. You know, one, for the down payment, and then two, to still have a maintenance reserve. And people say, oh, you're putting so much money into that truck, but what they don't understand is the truck is making the money. It's just the money goes back into the truck. If I wasn't driving the truck, then there would be no money to generate to even pay for the truck. If that makes sense. So I don't know, but usually people just don't really understand about trucking or about business. But yeah, so probably could have did some things better. Like I said, definitely lost $700 on ordering the wrong part, and probably lost about $2,100 on having a head gasket done originally, and that probably even wasn't the issue again. And if he was going to replace the cylinder liner, he would have replaced the head gasket anyway, so I probably would have saved myself some money there. But you know, like I said, every day is a lesson learned in trucking. Try to get better, but hopefully I don't have any more major issues for the next 3 or 4 months. And like at least once a quarter there's going to be something. But I mean, if I can stack, you know, things back up and get a nice significant amount saved up again, the next time I have a major repair, I'm gonna take my time. And I thought about doing it this time. I was really considering just like, you know, taking my chances and going and getting something, and just really not having much in reserves for maintenance if I got something newer. But I was like, man, I'll probably put myself in a worse situation, because at that point then I'd have a truck payment, and even though my truck, it might need more repairs more often, a newer truck might need less repairs less often. But when it does need repairs, newer truck parts cost probably like sometimes 2, 3, and sometimes 4 times as much as it costs for me to get a part for this truck. So, yep. Let me know in the comments what you think I should have done differently. I mean, like, honestly, like I said, I know the 2 places where I lost money, and I could have made a better decision. But as far as like, you know, getting a cheaper fifth wheel, getting a used one, trying to find one at a salvage yard, I mean, you know, all these things are kind of risky also, and you don't know exactly what you're going to get. Now I've got a brand new fifth wheel on here, and I really can tell the difference in the ride and just everything. So even though it sucks that I had to pay that much money for it and everything happened, I'm glad that I do have a new one now. Have you ever seen DOT check for that? I've heard guys talk about they check for it, the locking jaw mechanism, to make sure there's no gap there. One guy said that one DOT inspector told him, "Oh, you got a lot of play there." And he said, "Yeah, it's a self-adjusting fifth wheel." And then she was like, "Oh, okay." And then that was that, you know. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Like I always say, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Hard times don't last, hard trucks there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button and consider subscribing. Like I always say, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Hard times don't last, hard trucks do, and last but definitely not least, stay smooth, my friends.